welcome to Face to Face, and today we're going to speak with Brooke. We're going to talk about transgender women of color in New York City. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure.
I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so what was a little bit your journey?
Well, my journey was like, I basically feel like there has been so many murders, especially of Black trans women in this country.
Yeah.
Which is very shocking to me because this is a very progressive country in many ways. But when it comes to Black trans women, last year we lost 19.
In New York City?
No, in the
US?
country. No,
Wow.
it would have been like, in the country we lost 23.
23.
23. So there's basically the state of emergency for trans women of color, especially Black trans women. So I could not stay quiet. I have a really good life, so I have to do this.
So it's combined. It's discrimination. It's pure discrimination on the.
Well, we talk about intersectionality.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. So the intersection, being at the intersection of being women, that's already a disadvantage.
Exactly.
Being African American, you get profiled a lot, and being trans, that combination proves to be very deadly.
It's very complicated. Yeah. And so what is the life? I mean, how complicated is it for it's on the street, it's in the subway, it's at work, it's how...
These attacks, I mean, they happen everywhere. There was a Mexican woman, Tamara Dominguez.
Yeah.
Last year, she was murdered in the parking lot outside her church.
Wow.
The guy ran with a car over her 3 times. So these guys are monsters. These guys is like, right now, trans is being perceived as a liability. And I feel like the government, the United Nations, and especially religious leaders are not doing anything, to help us.
Yeah.
And we are being seen like, like somebody, out of this world.
Okay.
When we've been around from the beginning of time, trans people, and, it's a spectrum. Gender is a spectrum.
Yeah.
So, but, nobody is doing anything really, just talk. And every year these women continue to be slaughtered.
Yeah. And so, but the example you mentioned are the extreme, but on day-to-day life, how does the discrimination work? How does it?
So many levels.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like unemployment is
very
pervasive everywhere. No one is just like, oh my God, it's like, oh no, we'll call you. And they never call.
Yeah.
Or they say, oh, the position is already taken.
Yeah.
And if you happen to get the job, then you're on your own. There's no one you can go to. If you report it to the supervisor, they don't do anything because, everybody is non-trans. So we are like the only ones. We have nowhere, no allies, no one. It goes to like say, this is wrong what we're doing to these women. When it comes to jobs, I mean, the only thing that we have is the stipends. Which that's not a living wage. How can you, this is a very expensive city. And when it comes to even access to healthcare, a lot of times, doctors refuse treatment of trans people just because you're trans. And I have had so many of my sisters, they've been raped, they've been attacked, and the ambulance don't even pick them up. They leave them in the street once they find out they don't have a vagina. They go like, or they never come back to the room in the hospital. Let's see, housing, the same thing. The same thing. You can call on the phone and they say, come, the apartment is great,
you visit.
Come take a look.
And
then it was like,
it's over.
Oh no. They assume that you're a sex worker. They assume that you are this. I mean, we are the worst stereotype.
So you have no choice to be an activist in some ways because everything it's a fight. Everything it's a challenge for.
I mean, no one is doing it. No one is doing it. Everybody's talking around.
Yeah.
This is why I don't get involved with community-based organizations because it's all talk. And at the end of the day, we don't even have a place to socialize.
Yeah.
We used to have a group, and because of the relocation of this community-based organization, we lost the group. It was used to be twice a week. It used to be up to like 60 women used to show up.
Wow.
So it was a focal point. We used to go socialize, you meet someone. I haven't seen these women since the group.
60 women?
Yeah, they just to come and like, and sometimes it was so great because you haven't seen them in a long time, and it was just like, we don't even have a place to hang out. If you want to hang out, it's like, I have already asked the politicians to give us a space to socialize. We just need a place, to break bread, to have a meal, and a metro car. Because in this city, if you don't get a metro car, I cannot get anywhere myself. It's so expensive.
So, but that's what you mentioned a little bit before, the difficulty with the city. You have in some way, more relation with the state than the city. It's mayor.
Well, the mayor, de Blasio, has not even addressed our community at all. I mean, we have been relying on the governor, Cuomo. He has been very supportive. We are able now to, rectify our birth certificates. If you was born here in New York City, you're able to align your birth certificate, your state ID. We now have access to gender-affirming surgeries, which are life-saving surgeries, and they are proved to be, HIV prevention. Trans healthcare because it gives you so much depression that it really puts you at risk for everything.
And it's very expensive.
I mean, it's not really that expensive. Like now, they're hyping up the prices. I feel like, unfortunately, when it comes to vaginoplasties, we still do not have a doctor in New York City that takes Medicaid. So, they say they're training them. They're saying they're training them, and it's been a year and a half, and we still don't have a competent doctor. So a lot of women is like, I don't want to be a guinea pig so these doctors can practice in New York City. And a lot of doctors, they don't want to take, they still refuse to take Medicaid. Actually, the governor is telling them, giving an ultimatum, you have to take these patients. Is people's rights to, access to healthcare. This is not cosmetic. Fox News every 24 hours telling people that trans women, we want super rights, that we want this and that. This is not. It's like, I cannot see. I shouldn't get my glasses. I should be blind. And this is stuff that happens. People are born with with issues. I'm not saying that transsexualism is a disease or anything, but it is something definitely. It makes our life a lot easier when we are able to align our bodies with our gender identity.
Exactly. Should be a right.
You will think in New York City, at least.
No, and New York should be the place where things should be much easier for.
Well, it is much easier for some of us. It depends on the color of your skin. Like I'm very melanin deficient, especially with this light. I feel like I'm even more melanin deficient. So that gives you a lot of privilege. I get a lot of privilege. I get treated like very nicely wherever I go. But whenever I go with my black trans sisters, it's like, we follow around. It's just like they assume the worst. And sometimes it's them who have I don't have any education. A lot of my black trans sisters, they have college degrees, they have masters, they have all these PhDs, all this stuff, education, and they're still being treated a profile. They still want to be profiled. So that's unacceptable. It's an outrage in New York City. People, there's a big disparity. It's like the tale of two cities, one for melanin deficient people and the other one for people of color. Even our neighborhoods, they don't look as nice as other neighborhoods.
Of course.
Try to access, organic food.
Forget about it.
There's not, in my neighborhood, I live in Inwood.
And you say an organization who was helping you just close or what?
Well, it was not really a help. It was thanks to Arlene Hoffman, rest in peace. Was a pioneer woman that she was adamant to have this group, twice a week at this institution. And this institution moved to Brooklyn.
I see.
And they downsized. And now the group is still in another location. But now the maximum capacity is 15 people maximum. And what happens if you're 16? You don't even get a Metro card. And now the meals are cold, and the rooms is so small That's why there can only be maximum 15
yeah,
girls,
yeah.
because the room's so small,
Yeah.
and you have to eat on top of each other.
Yeah.
Because the room is like this. It's like we don't even get a dining room. We get treated like,
Wow.
nobody gets treated the way
Yeah.
we get treated.
Yeah.
That I'm just gonna have to say.
So how people can help? What can be done? How do you see them?
I don't see any other way except for us to have our own community center.
Yeah.
The National Trans Feminine Community Center.
Yeah.
I want something like the one on 13th Street. I
Yeah.
don't know if you're familiar
Yeah.
with the LGBT
We
center.
were over there a month ago. We did organize an auction there.
Yeah, we need to have something. Unfortunately, nowadays, if we apply for grants or anything, the first thing they want to do, they want to see your house. And we don't have anything.
don't have any place.
So good luck trying to get funding. So we need to have it has to be trans autonomy.
Yeah.
I know cis people, they want to help, but there's no way they can help us because they have no idea what it's like to be trans.
Okay.
So it has to be, it's very hard because people, they don't want to let go, the control, I feel like they are the brokers. Cis people, we have to depend on them for everything. That's what happened to gender. Gender was a bill that was going to give protections for gender identity and gender expression, and we were depending on cis people. And now that the Empire State Pride agenda ceased to be in business, that doesn't exist no more. So it seems like gender is gone.
Yeah.
So we don't even have legislations. Legislations are the best also. When you legislate, and they don't even want to introduce a bill.
And you work for 12 years on this legislation, no?
For gender, I not personally, but a lot of my sisters.
But it was 12 years of process,
yes,
and then
they're pushing and pushing,
and
they basically was never taken into the Senate.
Yeah.
It will pass the first house,
Yeah.
but they never took it to the Senate, and they were like. They were telling everybody is like, oh my God, it's just like it's gonna be men in the ladies' room. That's how they scared them away. Fox News and New York Post.
Yeah.
They were it's like, oh, watch out. It's like, come on, we gotta go to the ladies' room and that's it, in and out.
Yeah.
And people are spreading all lies about us and no one, we cannot even defend ourselves because we don't have a platform. So I'm glad that you're giving us this platform because people need to hear about us.
No, that's what we did the show for. That's the main objective. Thank you very much, Brooke. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
No,
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was the show for today. You can watch the news on presenza.com and subscribe so you can get to your digest of the day into your email. Thank you very much for watching.